Carter. Second, Jackson Holdsworth. Third, Maverick Geddes. And fourth, Sarah Homan. Next in the ring is our intermediate showmen. These are ages 14 to 16. Savannah Stoner, Hannah Bruneyes, Jordan Naylor, Brinley Wright, Olivia Homan, and Ethan Eckenrode. That's your class. Beef examiners, junior showman. You should be at ringside. Junior showman. Graham Adams, Lane Bruneyes, Madison Fagan. We'd also like to recognize our Shippensburg Fair royalty that's here helping us out in the show ring today, presenting our awards. They're newly selected as the 2025 court last night. Miss Rory Jones, our Shippensburg Fair queen, and Miss Ellery McKenrick, our Shippensburg Fair sweetheart. Let's give them a round of applause. Thanks so much, ladies, and congratulations on your new crowns.
another really, really good class, and especially the top three. It was really, really hard to kind of pick out the pieces and place them the way that I did, but I'm going to use the young lady with the black heifer in front of me to start. She's really consistent, and she always has her eye on me. She always has her heifer set up really well, and I can tell that she knows kind of how to pull them in, and that's kind of where she placed over the young lady in second, and she usually places or pulls them in really straight with the line, and I really appreciate that. The young lady in second, not to take anything away from her, she's one that also doesn't take her eye off me, and when she gets her heifer set, she does a really good job just trying to pull her in every single time to the place that she is now. Use less of our stick, and then we can really compete, but really good job to you. The young lady in third, her heifer kind of fell apart on her there, and I told her just to take a breath, pull her around in a circle, and get her set like she was doing the whole time, but I could tell she got a little flustered, but another one that did really, really good. The young lady in fourth is one I said that's another one that did a good job. Just trying to work on her stick work a little bit more on how to loin them, keep her heifer's legs a little bit more outside of themselves. She wants to get up under herself a little bit when she's set up, but good job to her. And then the young lady in fifth is one I said that Elsa does a good job, just trying to get our heifers to kind of have a bigger circle and get them set up all the time, but she was getting a little antsy, but she still did a very good job. And the young man to round out our class, his bull calf just didn't really want to go with him, but he still did a good job keeping eye contact and keeping him set. Congratulations to all those exhibitors. Let's give them a round of applause.
Intermediate showman, first place Hannah Bruneyes, second Brinley Wright, third Savannah Stoner, fourth Jordan Naylor, fifth Olivia Homan, and sixth Ethan Eckenrode. Next class in the ring is our junior showman, ages 11 to 13. 3 entries, Graham Adams, Lane Bruneyes, and Madison Fagan. That's your class. Beef Exhibitors novice showman should be at ringside. Reese Adams, Warren Brown.
really good class of juniors. And the young man I'm going to start with surely never misses a beat. The heifer's always set up. He has her head up at a really good angle, and I really appreciate that. He was really quick to kind of answer my question of what the age she was. The only thing I'd like to pick on him for is I really prefer if your heifer kind of moves, just try and pull her up if you have space. I understand if you don't have space, you don't want to spin her. It's a little tight in here, but she isn't as fast responding when you use your stick. So either spin her or pull her up a couple of steps to kind of get her set. But he did a really good job. The young lady in second over third was close. I really appreciate the fact that the cow is always set up. She was another one that was quick to answer my question. We just need to hold her head up just a little bit higher and her nose a little towards me. She wants to kind of slack off and pull her nose down on you, but you did a very good job. And the young man in third is another one that I really appreciate, and I can tell that he knows what he's doing. His heifer's just a little bit antsy today. I'd like to make her calm down a little bit for him, but really good class of juniors. Let's give him a round of applause.
Junior showman, first place Lane Bruneyes, second Madison Fagan, and third Graham Adams. Next in the rings are novice showmen. These are 8 to 10-year-olds, Warren Brown and Reese Adams. That's your class. Exhibitors up next will be selecting our champion showmen. At ringside, we need senior division Katie Miller, intermediate Hannah Bruneyes, junior Lane Bruneyes, and on standby Jackson Holdsworth.
a really good class at Novice Showman, and I'm going to use the young lady in the tie-dye shirt here to go ahead and win your class. She does a really, really good job, so great round of applause there. But she does a really good job. She always has the heifer set up pristine. She never takes her eyes off me. For as little as she is, she does a great job of holding her heifer's head up. I just said it's a little distracting when you're popping your heifer in the nose. I can understand wanting to kind of keep in control of her, and that's definitely something I would have done at her age. But just try and hold it maybe in front of her face. We talked about it, but maybe just try and hold it in front of her face. Maybe that'll scare her enough to not push you around, but she's a really good place to start. The young man in second has really put the heat on the last 5 minutes. I told him just trying to keep consistent with keeping his heifer set up. He did, like I said, he had her set up the last 5 minutes, but when he pulled in and kind of first pulled around, she wasn't totally set up. So just trying to be a little bit faster with that, but really a really great class of Novice Showman. Let's give him a huge round of applause.
Novice Showman, first place, Reese Adams, and second to Warren Brown. Congratulations to all of our showmen. We're now ready to select our champion breeding beef showman. From the senior division, we have Katie Miller. Intermediate, Hannah Bruneyes. Junior division, Lane Bruneyes. And our novice division, Reese Adams. Once again, sponsor for our Champion Showman Drive is Matt and Holly Adams. Adams Cattle Company, thank you so much for your sponsorship. And we are selecting our Champion Breeding Beef Showman.
Sorry for working them a little bit longer, but showmanship was like my bread and butter. It was my favorite thing about the fair, because even if I didn't have one that maybe didn't present to the best of its ability, I could show off kind of my hard work of the summer, how long I kind of, and how many hours I put into working with my animal, and I can tell all four of these exhibitors have put a lot of hours in. So let's give them a big round of applause for that. That's really, really cool. And every single one of these out here, I trust on any one of my heifers, which I really appreciate. I just kind of asked them a few questions. I asked them to kind of go around to their animal or to another person's animal and tell me something they like and don't like about them. I have a sibling rivalry here, so I didn't like them. I didn't let them go easy about it and talk about their sibling's animal. But I just wanted them to kind of see what they knew about the livestock themselves, see what kind of answers I got. And there's one out here that really impressed me with her answer. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and pick you a grand, pull in the second, and I'll get you a reserve. Let's give them a big round of applause.
Champion breeding beef showman goes to Katie Miller. Katie Miller is a former winner of our Supreme Showmanship, so she's not eligible to represent breeding beef this weekend for that event. So we're going to bring back our second place senior showman. We'll let our judge work him around a little bit, and we'll select the breeding beef representative for Supreme Showmanship, which will be right here on Friday night. Representing us for Supreme Showmanship will be Hannah Brenner-Eyes. Congratulations, Hannah. Come on over to the office when you get a second. We'll give you your form to fill out for your bio for Friday. Again, congratulations to all of our exhibitors. We're going to give everybody just a quick breather, and then we're going to jump right into our Angus breed show. First class is yearling heifers, junior yearling heifers. We have 2 entries. Graham Adams with Ruby and Reese Adams with Poppy. All right, this is an Angus Junior Yearling Heifer class. Graham Adams with Ruby and Reese Adams with Poppy.
A nice start to our breeding heifer show, and there's two here that are really different in their types and kinds. I just prefer the added soft look that the young lady heifer has out in front, because that's a really good one that has that kind of brood cow look that I'm looking for. She's really long-bodied, really elevated, and still has a lot of swoop and softness to the center portion of her body. If anything, I'd like to kind of make both of these heifers a little bit more flexible and comfortable when they're set into motion, and maybe tuck that one up in terms of her chest. And that's kind of where the young man in second fills the void, because that one is really clean-fronted, and she is a little bit more tucked up in terms of her chest. I just like to pull her apart. She's a sensibly sized, moderate, easy feeding one. I just like to pull her apart, make her a little bit softer there in the center portion of her body, give her a little bit more foot and feature at the ground, but still really, really good pair to start. Congratulations to them both.
Junior yearling heifer of our Angus show. First place goes to Reese Adams with Poppy, and second to Graham Adams with Ruby. They'll also stand as your champion and reserve champion heifer of the Angus show. Both senior champion and grand. Next up is our Angus Junior bull calf, one entry from Lane Benaz with Ghost Man.
A nice little bull calf that the young man brought out that I think has a lot of potential. He said he's going to go put him out on cows in another year, and I think he's going to do really well with that because that one, the more he kind of gains and the more he grows, I think he's really going to come together. He's definitely looking a little green out here. He breaks behind his shoulder a little bit, maybe wants to get outside of himself on his and gets a little coarse in terms of his shoulder, but I think the more feed this thing has, just the better he's going to get because he gets around and goes really comfortable, and he has a lot of power and mass, especially for an Angus bull. I'm really happy about that, and he still comes elevated and good looking from the side. So like I said, a really good breeding piece for the young man. Congratulations.
First place junior bull calf to Lane Bruneyes, who will also be our junior champion bull and our grand champion bull of the Angus breeds. In addition, Lane is our sole entry in the Angus bred and owned class. Kelsey, do you want him back in to evaluate bred and owned, or are we all right? All right, we'll go ahead and award first place for bred and owned. Lane, you're good. We'll bring you back in for champion bred and owned at the end of the show. Next breed group is our Scimitars. We have one Scimitar Junior yearling heifer, excited by Lane Bruneyes with Shelby. This is a single entry in the Scimitars. It's also our only bred and owned entry for Scimitars. So we'll evaluate for junior yearling heifer, champion heifer, and bred and owned all at the same time.
A nice single entry here in the Scimitar division, and I really like this heifer, especially when you view her from behind, because there's no doubt she's packed full of power. She's stout-hipped. She has a lot of spring to her rib, and she's a really long-bodied one when you get from the side of her. I just like to pull her down there in terms of her heart, maybe make her have a little bit more swoop and softness to her belly, but I think it's coming, and I'd really like to make her a little bit more flexible and comfortable on the move, but still, like I said, one that's really packed full of power, that has a lot of spring of rib from behind. Just like to soften her up a little bit. Congratulations to him.
Scimitar Junior yearling heifer, first place. Champion Scimitar heifer, first place to Lane Bruneyes as well. And Scimitar bred and owned, first place to Lane Bruneyes. Congratulations, Lane. Next breed group is our Shorthorns. Shorthorn exhibitors should be making their way into the ring. We have one single class with 3 entries, all junior yearling heifers. Katie Miller, Money 15, Maverick Geddes, Joycey, and Jackson Holdsworth, Panda. Beef exhibitors, next class is our maintainers. Maintainers should be at ringside.
Nice class of Shorthorns. And the young lady that I used to start, I really like the softness of body that this heifer brings. She's the softest, deepest, has the most swoop to her rib in this class. She still has a lot of openness to her body. And my biggest thing is she gets around and goes with the most comfortability. She's the most flexible, especially out of the hock and pasture. If anything, I'd like to tuck her up in terms of her chest. She gets a little coarse there at the top side of her neck, but hey, really good place to start. And I think it was a close pair because there's two in bottom that kind of have contrasting types and kinds. I just kind of prefer the young man in second for his added foot bone and feature found in this heifer, and she likes to be a little bit softer there in the center portion of her body, a little bit deeper there in terms of her chest. I'm sorry, a little bit deeper there in terms of her heart. If anything, I'd like to tone her down in terms of her condition and make her a little bit fresher. I think that'll give her a better look, but still a good place to go ahead and put in second. And I love the added fast-growing freshness found in the heifer in third. I love her length of body. If anything, I'd like to kind of give her some more foot and bone there at the ground. I think she needs to get around more comfortable, but my problem is kind of full rib forward. She gets kind of unproportional. Gets a little crusty in terms of her neck. I'd like to push her back in the angle of her shoulder, but a good heifer to go ahead in third. Congratulations to all those exhibitors.
Results of our Shorthorn Junior Yearling Heifer class. First place, Katie Miller. Second, Jackson Holdsworth. And third, Maverick Geddes. They'll also stand as our Shorthorn Senior Heifer Champions and Shorthorn Grand Champion Heifers. Next breed group is maintainers. We'll have one single entry in the Junior Yearling Heifer. This is Hannah Brunaz with Pride's Joy. We'll evaluate for Junior Yearling Heifer, Senior Champion Heifer, Grand Champion Heifer of the maintainers, and bred and owned all in one shot.
A really nice single entry here, and she's one that I really appreciate when you set her in motion because she comes really comfortable and flexible when she grabs the surface. I like how level she comes over her top and still comes plenty good the top side of her skeleton. I really like the swoop and depth that this one has to her rib. If anything, I'd like to get behind her and be more impressed and just want to pull her apart, make her a little stouter in terms of her hip, give her a little bit more shape, a little bit more spring to her rib, but still really good single entry. Really like her on the move. Congratulations.
Results of our maintainer, junior yearling heifer. First place, Hannah Brenaz with Pride's Joy. She'll also be our senior champion heifer, grand champion heifer, and best bred and owned of the maintainers. Next breed group, we're ready for our other registered purebreds. First class, intermediate heifer calf, one entry from Kara Lehman with Ferrari.
I really like this when this young lady gets his park kind of set up and propped up. When she kind of calms down, she really comes together nice. That one's really level. I really love the angle to her shoulder, how flexible she goes when she's in motion, and still comes really good in terms of her rib shape, and still comes with some size when you get behind her. My problem with her for February, maybe wish she was a little bit bigger and maybe clean her up in terms of her neck and chest, but still a really nice place to start. Nice single entry. Congratulations.
Intermediate heifer calf of our other registered breeds. First place to Kira Lehman. Next class is our junior yearling heifers. 3 entries. We have Kira Lehman with Bugatti, Amelia Brown, Molly, and Bunny Wright with Beer, Jody Fort.
good class AOBs, and I think it was a little tougher here on the top pair because there's two here that have some good and also have some concerns in my opinion. But I think today the White Park heifer just has to go out in first. I love her brood cow look from this side. She's one that comes really long-bodied, really pulled apart. I love her added depth and sweep that she has in her rib. If anything, I'd really like to make her more comfortable on the move. I'd like to make her a little bit smoother there in terms of her shoulder, squaring her up in her front toes, maybe shorten her back toes a little bit. Maybe that'll get her out and let her go a little bit more comfortable. But she's a good place to start, and I prefer her right behind her shoulder compared to the heifer in second. And actually, I prefer this one, no doubt, on the move because she stays really comfortable, really flexible. But this one, I just worry come calf if she's going to stay with that added condition and stay kind of good from that standpoint when she goes ahead and calves. No doubt from the silhouette, this one's really nice. She comes elevated and level. I just like to give her a little bit more right behind her shoulder, pull her down in terms of her flank, but still a good place to go in second. Young lady in third has another really nice one, and I love her from the side. She's really, really elevated there through her front 1/3. She gives you some power from behind. She needs to come more flexible at the ground. I need to pull her down in the center portion of her body, give her some more sweep and depth to her rib, and I'd like to fix her there in terms of her blade. She wants to kind of be uncomfortable and coarse there. I'd like to set her down in that, make her a little bit more level, but still a really good place to go ahead in third. Congratulations to all those exhibitors.
Results of our junior yearling heifer class from other registered breeds. First place, Kiera Lehman with Bugatti. Second, Brindley Wright with Bar Jody. And third, Amelia Brown with Molly. Next class in the ring, other registered breeds. 2-year-old heifer. One single entry from Jordan Naylor with J-Lo.
A nice single entry here in the AOB division, and one that comes with a lot of foot bone and feature. I love that about her. I like the added spring of rib she has when you get behind her. She's really good at the top side of her skeleton and stays clean there through her neck and head. And there's just one thing when you set that one in motion. She wants to dip in terms of her pin set, kind of pull her hocks together. I'd like to pull her apart there, make her a little square and level her there. Maybe pull her thorough placement up a little bit, and I think that'll help her kind of just pull herself apart. She wants to get up under herself, but if we could tweak that about her, that's still a nice heifer to go ahead for a single entry. Congratulations.
Results of our 2-year-old heifer class in the other registered breeds. First place awarded to Jordan Naylor with J-Lo. We're now ready for our senior and grand champion heifer drive for our other registered breeds. We need our intermediate heifer calf, Kiera Lehman's Ferrari, junior yearling heifer, Kiera Lehman's Bugatti, and our 2-year-old heifer, Jordan Naylor, J-Lo. Then at ringside, we'll hold Brindley Wright's B.R. Jody. For selection of our reserve.
nice drive for our AOB heifers. And the heifer calf coming out of the first class, like I said, I really, really like this one when the young lady gets her propped up. Do I worry if she necessarily will kind of get big enough? Maybe. But she gives such a good look from the side, and I think she's just going to get better as she gets older and gains weight. The young lady in second, like I said, I love the brood cow power found in this one. I think she's one that comes together really nice, and having a calf, I think she's going to keep her condition well and do well from that standpoint. I'd like to kind of square her up there from her hooks and pins. She gets a little round there and make her more flexible and comfortable in the move, but still being nitpicky on one that's going to do really, really well. And the young lady, the third class, like I said, she comes with a lot of foot bone and feature and has those kind of out there pieces. I just like to kind of fix her there in her pin set, fix her there in her thorough placement, pull her apart in her hocks, make her a little bit more comfortable. But it was a really nice AOB drive. I'm going to go ahead with the lady in the second class to be your champion. Bring the one that was in second, reevaluate them, and I'll pick you a reserve. Congratulations. Let's give them a big round of applause.
Champion Senior Heifer and Champion Grand Heifer of the other registered breeds goes to Kieran Lehman's Junior Yearling Bugatti. We'll bring back Brindley Wright, and we'll drive for reserve. Reserve champion goes to Brindley Wright. Next class is our other registered breeds pair of heifers. If we could get Kiera Lehman with her Bugatti and Ferrari. Single entry for pair of heifers. Next class at ringside should be our other registered breeds cow-calf class. Again, single entry from Kira Lehman for cow-calf.
I love a good group class, and the young lady that brought the two white parks in here, I can tell she does a really good job. They're two that have a lot of rib shape, a lot of openness to the rib there. I really like how flexible and comfortable the calf comes, and I appreciate that over the bigger heifer, but still, really nice group class for this young lady to come out and pull out. Congratulations.
First place pair of heifers awarded to Kira Lehman. Next class is other registered breeds cow-calf. It's our single entry cow-calf for the show. So this will also be for our champion cow-calf pair of our breeding show.
Nice single entry cow-calf pair, and this cow's doing a great job raising this calf. And for a 2-year-old, she is in really, really good condition, and I really appreciate the memory system that this one has. She stays really good from that standpoint, and I think as she gets older, it's going to stay into her, which is really good. So really good cow-calf pair. Congratulations.
First place awarded to Kira Lehman. Congratulations again. That'll be our champion cow-calf pair for the show as well. Last class for our other registered breeds is our bred known, who is single entry from Jordan Naylor with J-Lo.
A really good single entry for your bred knowns, and I talked about this heifer a lot about having her out there pieces, which I really appreciate because she has a lot of foot bone and feature. She's stout about her hips, has some added shape, and I like how she comes out the top side of her skeleton. Like I said before, just like to square her up there, pull her apart in her hock, but still, good job to this young lady for bringing in a bred known. Congratulations.
First place bred known for other registered breeds is Jordan Naylor. We're now ready for our crossbreeds. Crossbreed examiners, please have your cattle at ringside. First class intermediate heifer calf, one entry from Madison Fagan with Pearl.
Nice calf to come out as a single entry here, and she is so elevated out of her top 1/3. She comes really clean and pretty through her head and neck, and for being still on cow, I really appreciate the depth of body and spring of rib that this one has. If anything, I'd maybe like to make her a little bit more flexible there out of her hock and pastern, but hey, maybe that'll come with size. But really good job. Congratulations to her.
Crossbred intermediate heifer calf, first place to Madison Fagan. She'll also be your junior champion heifer. Next class in the ring, summer yearling heifer, single entry from Olivia Homan with Nirvana. At ringside, Warren Brown and Savannah Stoner.
Another nice single entry, and I'm not that familiar with the Highland breed, but I judged a couple the other day, and I really, really like these things. They're cool looking. They're fun to kind of evaluate, and this one's really nice because she comes really good in the center portion of her body. So she's still good over her top. It comes out flexible with a good bit of foot and feature. If anything, I'd like to kind of pull her apart when you get behind her, but still, really nice single entry. Congratulations to her.
Crossbred Summer Yearling Heifer, first place awarded to Olivia Homan. Next class, Crossbreeds Junior Yearling Heifer. 2 entries, Savannah Stoner with Phoebe and Warren Brown with Elf. Senior Yearling Heifers to ringside, Sarah Homan, Katie Miller.
These are 2 heifers that you get propped up and they over there. These are 2 heifers that you get propped up and you really like them once they get set and the kids get their heads up and that kind of thing. I just think when you really break down structure, you got to start with the heifer, the silver heifer that the young man's gotten first, because you study her from the side, and like I said, she gives you a good look. She's elevated, she's level, she has some rib shape, but I really appreciate her on the move because she gets around, grabs the surface with more comfort and ease out of her hock and pastern, and I appreciate the fact that she stays square when you view her from behind on her hind two. The young lady in seconds wants to kind of bow out every once in a while. Now there's no doubt that one gets a little flatter, especially there in her lower quarter when you get behind her, and that's kind of where the young lady in second fills the void because that heifer is really shapely. She has a lot of power. She's stout out of her hip, but she also kind of has a structural problem for me. She gets really uncomfortable there in her spine. I'd like to make her more uniform, fill her in behind her shoulder, and just let her go with more comfort and ease, but still a really nice one to go ahead and go in second. Congratulations.
Our results from our junior yearling heifer class. First place was Warren Brown, and second was Savannah Stoner. We're going to go back and redo our summer yearling heifer class. Our apologies, we missed Katie's heifer in that one, so we're going to reevaluate this. Again, this is Olivia Homan with Nirvana and Katie Miller with Passion. Cattle exhibitor senior yearling heifer is next at ringside, Sarah Homan.
We're redoing this class. There's a little bit of a mishap, but I'm going to go ahead and use the young lady with the black heifer. I think she's the most complete out of this pair. Yeah, does the Highland heifer have some more rib shape and is a little softer? Sure, but she's also a little flatter, maybe a little bit narrow in terms of her pin set. So I'll use the black heifer. I think she still comes with enough power and shape from behind. She can get around and go good enough. I'm not going to say she's the most flexible, but she's a good place to start. And now the young lady with the Highland, like I said, I really like her from the side. She is flexible. She's big-featured. She's soft, but you get behind her, and she just really doesn't have enough. She gets way too narrow there in terms of her pin set, and narrow at the ground. Gets a little too flat, especially there through a rib shape. But another good class. Congratulations.
Results for our summer yearling heifer. First place to Katie Miller with Passion, and second to Olivia Homan with Nirvana. Next class in the ring of our senior yearling heifer. One entry from Sarah Homan with Malachi.
a nice big-bodied one for the single entry, and one that I really like. Her added depth of body. I like her sweep to her rib. She comes with some foot bone and feature. I just like to pull her apart when you get behind her. She wants to kind of hawk in, get a little narrow there at the ground, make her a little bit more flexible there on her rear pasture, and she has a tendency to go and click them, and just kind of pull her head out of the top side of her skeleton a little bit more, get her a little cleaner there through her throat. But really good single entry. Congratulations to her.
Senior yearling heifer, first place awarded to Sarah Homan with Malachite. Next class will be our crossbred 2-year-old heifer. One entry from Madison Fagan with Diamond.
Nice 2-year-old, and the young lady said she'll come back in for a cow-calf pair, so I won't talk her too much, but she comes really long-bodied and elevated. I like her added foot bone and feature. I just like to bulk her up, give her some more condition and some more feed, but a good single entry. Congratulations.
Crossbred 2-year-old heifer, first place to Madison Fagan with Diamond. We're now ready to select our senior champion heifer. Into the ring, we need Katie Miller's summer yearling heifer, Warren Brown's junior yearling heifer, Sarah Homan's senior yearling heifer, and Madison Fagan's 2-year-old heifer. Once again, this is for selection of our senior champion crossbred heifer. And at ringside for selection of reserve, Olivia Homan with Nirvana and Savannah Stoner with Phoebe. We'd like to go ahead and recognize the sponsors of our breeding group classes: Shetron Auction and Equipment, Country View Livestock, Helm Sisters Cattle Company, and Kingsley Blasco Insurance. Let's give them a great big round of applause, as well as all of our exhibitors here today. Thank you so much. Up next, we'll be selecting our crossbred grand champion heifer. So we need Madison Fagan's Pearl at ringside.
I'm in for Crossbred Drive, and I'll just kind of go down and talk about each one again. The young lady with the black heifer in front of me, like I said, I really like that one. She's a really complete one that comes with body, comes with shape, gets around and goes good enough. If anything, yeah, I'd like to make her a little bit more flexible there in her pasterns, clean her up through her head and neck, and drop her down in terms of her flank, but still a good complete heifer to go ahead there. The young man with the silver heifer here out of the second class, I love this one from this side. She's really, really pretty, really level, gives you enough rib shape, and still comes comfortable and flexible. But for the age she is, I wish she was bigger. She's a little bit too moderate, too sensibly sized, in my opinion. But like I said, really like her from this side. The young lady out of the third class, like I said, is one that comes really big-bodied. She has a lot of rib shape. She has a lot of swoop to her rib, has some foot bone and feature. Wish I could make her a little bit more comfortable there on her back two wheels and kind of pull her apart, make her a little bit more elevated through her front one-third. And then the young lady out of the last class, like I said, is one that has a really long-bodied one that comes super elevated. I just need to bulk her up, give her some more pounds, and kind of pull her down there in the center portion of her body. But when you kind of break that down, I'm going to go ahead and use the young lady out of the first class, bring that second place one in for reserve, and then we'll reevaluate and pick your reserve. Congratulations. Let's give them a big round of applause.
Champion senior heifer goes to Katie Miller, so we'll bring in Olivia Homan. We'll let her make a lap, and she's going to fill in right there in the front. And we'll select our reserve. Reserve champion goes to Warren Brown with Elf. All right, we're now ready to select our champion crossbred heifer. Winning our junior champion heifer, Madison Fagan with Pearl. And then our senior champion heifer, Katie Miller's Passion. Warren Brown will hold you at ringside with Elf. Next class will be our crossbred bulls. Ethan Eckenrod should be at ringside.
We get in for our crossbred drive, and I think it honestly gets close, because I think with time that calf could probably beat this one. I just think today maybe a little too green, a little too small, so I'll be more comfortable using the young lady out of the second division. Congratulations.
Champion crossbred heifer goes to Katie Miller with Passion. We'll bring in Warren Brown's Elf, and we'll draw for reserve.
We bring in the the reserve division in for reserve crossbred, and I really like this one from this side. Like I said, I just question if she's really big enough for the age that she is, and if she will get big enough come calves. So I'll go ahead and use the young lady out of the first division to be your reserve. Congratulations.
Reserve champion crossbred heifer goes to Madison Fagan with Pearl. Next class in the ring will be our crossbred junior yearling bull. Single entry from Ethan Eckenrode with Daryl. This is our single entry in the bulls for crossbreeds, so it'll be our junior yearling bull class, our junior champion bull, and our grand champion bull all in one drive.
Nice single entry bull, and I've never judged a Western Heritage, but they're pretty cool. And I think that this one has some pieces that kind of pull you in, because he has some rib shape and he has some masculinity and ruggedness through his neck there, and has some added shape through his top. I'd like to kind of bulk him up, widen him up in terms of his pin set, but really good single entry. Congratulations.
Crossbred junior yearling bull, first place to Ethan Eckenrode. He'll also be our champion junior bull and champion bull of the crossbreeds. Congratulations, Ethan. Next class in the ring is our crossbred cow-calf class with one entry from Madison Fagan with Diamond and Pearl. Exhibitors up next is Grand Champion Heifer. If you are a breed division champion heifer, please be at ringside for selection of our overall champion heifer. At ringside, we should have Reese Adams, Poppy. Lane Bruneyes, Shelby. Katie Miller, Money. Hannah Bruneyes, Pride's Joy. Kayla Lehman, Bugatti. And Katie Miller, Passion. Those animals to ringside for selection of our overall champion heifer. We'll also be selecting overall champion cow-calf, overall champion bred and owned, and our overall champion bull.
Nice single entry cow-calf pair, and when you evaluate the cow, yeah, you think she needs some more condition. I wish she could drop down a little bit more in her bag, give her some more milk there, but there's no doubt that she's raising a really nice calf, and I really like this one. The calf, as she has a lot of depth of rib and spring through her rib, and actually has some foot bone feature, has some stoutness at hips, so there's no doubt the cow's doing a really good job. Just would like to kind of bulk her up as well, but really nice pair. Congratulations.
First place cow-calf goes to Madison Fagan. All right, we're ready for Grand Champion Heifer. Once again, we need the breed division champions into the ring. We should have from the Angus, Reese Adams with Poppy. Simmental champion heifer, Lane Brown Eyes with Shelby. Shorthorn champion heifer, Katie Miller, Money. Maintainer champion heifer, Hannah Brown Eyes, Pride's Joy. Champion heifer of the other registered breeds, Kira Lehman with Bugatti. And our crossboard champion heifer, Katie Miller, Passion.
we get in here for our heifer drive, and they said it in my bio. I raise Red Angus cattle just over the mountain, and I really, really like heifers. They're my favorite. They're my favorite to show, favorite to breed, favorite to feed. And when you kind of break that down, I always think in the back of my head, okay, which cow or which heifer in here do I think will do the best come calf? And you kind of break that down, and they need to be flexible. They need to have some rib shape in order to keep some condition. They need to be able to be big enough to kind of get that calf out. And there's just so many things that kind of go into it, and once you kind of break that down, I think there's one in here that does that really, really well, and one that's really close. And I think it's a close pair, but just from personal preference, there's one that I think would maybe with their added softness of body, added flexibility, will kind of go and do maybe a little bit better of a job. But with that said, I'll go ahead and pick you a Granite Reserve. Congratulations to all these exhibitors. Thank you for the show committee for letting me come out and evaluate. I'm excited to come back on Thursday and judge some steers. So let's give them all a really big round of applause.
Your champion heifer goes to Kira Lehman with Bugatti. And your reserve goes to Lane Brenize with Shelby. Congratulations to all of our heifer exhibitors. Next up, we'll select our champion cow-calf pair. We should have Kira Lehman from the other registered breeds and Madison Fagan from our crossbreeds. Our champion heifer was presented by Country View Livestock and Helm Sisters Cattle Company. Thanks so much for supporting our exhibitors and for sponsoring our show.
We get into your cow-calf drive, and I actually have a dairy cow background and judged dairy cows for majority of my life, so having to come out and kind of evaluate some memory systems is always fun in my opinion. But when you kind of break down the cows, I think both of the calves are really high quality, but I think at the end of the day there's only one cow out here that has the condition and has kind of that show ring look to kind of compete, and that's the young lady out of the AOB division. Not to take anything away from the crossbred, the cow just needs more time and feed. But congratulations to both those exhibitors.
Champion cow-calf goes to Kara Lehman and reserve to Madison Fagan. Congratulations to those exhibitors as well. Next up is our champion bred and owned. Again, this is all breeds competing. We have our champion Angus bred and owned, Lane Brenize with Ghostman. Simmental bred and owned, Lane Brenize Shelby. Maintainer bred and owned, Hannah Brenize Pride's Joy. And our other registered breed, bred and owned, Jordan Naylor with J-Lo.
let's give a huge round of applause for the kids that brought bread knowns out here. That's really awesome, and it's awesome that they can come and raise some and bring them to the fair and do really well with them. And the one that I'm going to go ahead and use for bread known did well in the 4-H show as well. So kudos for that young man for being able to raise one this good. Congratulations.
Champion bread known goes to Lane Beneyes with Shelby. All right, we're now ready to select our grand champion bull. Again, all breeds competing. We just had 2 entries for bulls this year, but we have an Angus bull, Lane Beneyes with Ghostman, and we have a crossbred bull, Ethan Eckenrode with Daryl. Our bread known awards today were presented by S&T Miller Farms. Scott and Tish Miller, thank you so much for supporting our show. Once again, I'd like to give a great big thank you to our judge, Miss Kelsey Zepp, our fair royalty, Rory Jones and Ellery McKendrick. Of course, all of our fair help and volunteers, the parents, the exhibitors, and all of our spectators for coming out. Let's give everybody a great big round of applause. We'll finish up this last class.
Nice drive of young bull calves or bulls, and you think at the end of the day, these things have to go, and they got to be rugged, and they got to be masculine to go and breed a group of cows. And I think there's one in here that really outdoes himself, and that's the young man with the Angus bull calf. Congratulations.
Champion bull goes to Lane Beneyes with his Angus, and reserve to Ethan Eckenrode with his crossbred. Congratulations again. We'll see you back here in the livestock ring at 1 p.m. for our open and youth breeding sheep show. See you at 1.